All right guys, good morning, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I am back on Rallybug, and since we put this motor in here, we had some problems with the tail end here and basically how it's fitting. So you can see this, the hood portion here is down. That's an inch and a quarter. It's right up against the filter right there. This side has this inch gap. Now, I need to strip this thing all the way down, get the fenders back off. I got to make some mounts to be able to mount this back on the tail end after I get everything situated here so it actually fits. So I'm going to strip it down, I'm going to pull the fenders back off and slide that guy into place and just see what I'm gonna have to do to make it fit. Eventually what I want is that section there and the fenders will all be bolted together, and just to be able to slip it on, bolt the front portion of the fenders. So basically this tail section of the car will be a one piece to go onto the car. But we got some fitting problems here, and there's the engine or the body mount there, and I was thinking of loosening those, see if I can't shift it. If I split this in half, which will be basically a half an inch on each side, whether that will give me room to put that section in there, or do I need to do little body lifts. Basically I just showed you that one, then we got that body mount there and that one under there. It'll be real easy just to build some little blocks to put up underneath there and lift the body. It won't affect the car at all because frankly the body is just a shell sitting on the chassis. Everything is built onto the chassis, so the body can go up and down without any effect on the car at all. So I'm gonna get busy here and strip this thing down, and then we'll get an idea what I have to do to make this fit on there. So I'm gonna get to work, guys. It's gonna be a long project. Oh, and let's get some brakes working. If you guys saw the little drive I took after we got this motor in there, I took a little spin around the neighborhood and I had no brakes. So we got to get old Rallybug stopping also. So we'll see in a bit. I'm going to tear this thing down and see what we got to do to get this thing working. All right, we'll see in a bit. All right, guys. Well, I went ahead and stripped the back of this, got the wheels, tires, fenders off, and I started to put this up. Now you see I made these little brackets, just shooting some screws right now. On this side it's not going to come up into place, so the next step, what I'm going to do right now is loosen the body up, see if I can just shift it over, whether it's got to come up. But let's see what we got to do in order to get this to fit on there. Then once that all lines up good, which as you can see on this side, we're good. Just need to make plates and shoot screws on both sides to secure that. But we are still touching, fuel rail down in there is touching, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work on this side here. But I got to get this side to fit. So I'm gonna go ahead, crawl up underneath Rallybug and loosen some bolts and see what we got to do here. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to take a whole lot, but it might. All right, back to work. Well, guys, I got a few things done today. Check this out. So I had to cut the inner fender area right there on both sides to make room for the fuel rail there. But you see how everything is fitting perfect now. That was my cut Got it tied together there. Went ahead and put the hood on, which is giving us room for the air cleaners. I made this little so what I had to do to accomplish that was jack the body up a little bit off the mounts here. Undid this mount here, probably got about maybe an inch under there, a little bit less there because it's further towards the front. And what I made here was little spacers. I had some 3/4 inch plate, so I'll go ahead and jack that up enough to get that 3/4 inch spacer in underneath there on each side, and that will give us room to close the hood. Now what I'm gonna have to do with these areas here is I'm just gonna fabricate out of some sheet metal a little box to go around each one of these to protect that from any dirt, anything. And then Bobby was working on the wiring today, and what did we get done over here? I see the...
Well, I did the wiring for the throttle body, like I said in the other video. I figured that out. I wired the coil. I still need to do basically all the 12 volt connections, but got the wires connected for the coil. I did the wiring for the crank sensor, cam sensor. I put in that little oil pressure sensor down there.
Very good.
Wired up the coolant temp sensor. Yeah,
well, you made some progress.
Yeah, it'll be done pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll be ready
to do all the power.
Start this thing up. Now you want me to weld a bolt so you can have a designated ground.
Ground right here.
So
tying the ECU to that ground, and then the battery, everything, just go right there.
All right.
Don't want this out in the sun.
So we're making some progress on both the cars, and more to go. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and make these boxes here, and the bracketry to hold it. I should basically be done with all this tomorrow, and then what's left on Rallybug is the brakes. But yeah, it's nice to see what that's gonna look like. All right guys, we'll see you tomorrow. All right guys, well, a couple days have passed. I spent yesterday putting all this rear end together here, and what that entailed was a little fabrication work here. I put a band across the seam there, tacked it on one side, put bolts through the other, so that's good and tight. And I threw some bolts in the fender. So basically this is all tied together. There's more to do, but the last couple days have been so windy I couldn't do any welding out here. Went ahead and put these little extenders here to extend the lid, so then there's actually room for the throttle bodies in there. But as good as I make this thing run, I can't actually drive it till we get the brakes fixed. So one problem that is common on these bugs is, you see how this wheel cylinder goes up and down, and the bleeder is about halfway through, which I don't know how you're supposed to get all the air that might be up in there out of that hole when that's down below. So I'm hoping, because all the adjustment was good, all these drums were dragging slightly on the shoes, so I know it's a hydraulic problem. So I think I am to the point, again, bleeding a VW bug. Notorious. Oh, so I got these all loose. I'm gonna have Bobby pump the brakes while I kick those to the side and loosen those up. So
what's going on with that jack stand?
Oh, is that off a little bit? Oh. That's when I was to get this all. Oh, that's another thing that happened yesterday. Here, Bobby, hold this camera real quick. Let me the alignment of the tail end of this. See how, like, I actually got some play there, but when this thing was down, see, it won't even shut now. That was holding it into, well, now I can't even get it up, but that was holding it in a bad position. So I'm gonna have to rework the door a little bit here, because as it goes down, it hits here. So
no big deal.
yeah, no big deal. A little cutting and welding, and then it'll all fit. And then also underneath here, see, I cut those holes there, and I'm gonna fabricate like a little box just to fit around them and keep those from getting all sorts of dirt and water and everything spraying up there. So still some fabrication work to do, but as you see, it's breezy today. I'm not doing any welding today. I'm gonna get these brakes working. So let's see if we can't pump these brakes. Let's see. Should put that on a stand, or
It's over there. I'm also doing my own video, so we're tossing the camera around between two cars.
yeah. All right. Turn that up like that. Go ahead and give it a. All right. There's a little bit of air and then solid fluid on that one. We'll get this other one on this side. Take a little editing. There was some air in there. All right, go ahead and give it another one. Give it another one. Pump it a few times. I'm getting air out of this one. One more. One more. God damn, we're getting air out of this one.
We're pushing this piston out.
Oh, is that what's happening? All right, let's it's not gonna pump up, not being put together, so we'll just, I think I got all the air out of that side. When I squeeze that, it actually, go ahead and get one more pump. Are you down?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it like that. We got quite a bit of air out of that side. So, okay.
All right, well, hopefully the brakes work after all that.
All right, guys. Well, little update on Rallybug here. The other day I did work on this, but it's still, this is the problem. When I raised the body at 3/4 of an inch there, as the body goes up, this bar here goes in, right? So where this used to be tight, we now have a little gap there. So I went ahead yesterday and I went ahead and cut this back bar off here, made a slight adjustment there, but it still is not fitting perfect. So I'm thinking, well, Robert, since the whole door has to go in to allow it to fit towards the back and to skinny up this gap here, why don't I cut this bar off and move it in about, well, even just 1/4 of an inch will help this, and it'll get so it actually goes down all the way, because it's not even going down all the way. It's still hitting even after I made that little adjustment there. I knocked this in, but still that line there is tight. So a little bit more work on the door to fix this problem. I'm moving this bar in, which will move the door back. So that's to get done. You saw the other day I went ahead and I drilled those holes and have that little band going across the seam there, bolting it together. I still got to do, as we'll see when we get over there, it's a little bit more fabrication work on that, and I still got to make the boxes. But I bled the brakes the other day, as you saw, put it back together, and one thing I noticed, I put it back together, I put it real tight. Now see that hole with the cotter for the cotter key right there, and see how far that is. There is actually a spacer that's supposed to go between the drum and the bearing, and Rallybug doesn't have that spacer. So basically the big nut there was forcing the drum up against the shoes, up against the backing plate, so it made it so tight there that it barely is able to move that. So we got the spacers on order to correct. You can see it here too. See that hole there? That's supposed to be way inside there, so the cotter key actually works. So the spacers are coming. It's not as windy as it has been, so I'll be able to do some welding. But yeah, I got a good day's work on this thing, and it should be pretty much a runner. One problem I had, these damn fuel rails. In taking the back portion off and on, I would hit this. So when I first put it back together, turn on the fuel pump, it's just spraying gas everywhere. And that's because of the way these fuel rails are mounted, right? So because of the hood, I was moving it around. But then look at this jury rig that somebody did here. Just that one little piece of flat bar there. There's a hole, threaded hole to run a screw up in there, but it's only maybe 3/8 of an inch deep, and this one is actually stripped. So whoever devised this method of holding the fuel rails on there, you know, they shouldn't have admitted to what they did here, because anyway, what I'm gonna have to do is eliminate that. I'm gonna make a little bracket, goes to these bolts there, come across there, then we'll have like some all thread there with a hook to secure those fuel rails. I'll come up with something, but that is something that happened the other day. that I gotta fix. I don't know if the manufacturers of these fuel rails actually have a better system. I'll look into that before I spend hours of fabricating. But yeah, that's another issue that came up. So, fuel rail mounting, back one piece mounting, spacers in the brakes, and make this door so it fits better. I think that's it. All right, just a little bit of work more to do on Rally Bug. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna end this video here because between Frankenbuggy and the work on that, we've been like all over the place. I just want to wrap this one up. We now know what we got to do next on Rally Bug. Frankenbuggy actually didn't start, and my son, he had to order some, I don't know, resistors or something for some sending units. And then we also got for Rally Bug, this is what's called the control module.
Yeah.
Control module for the power steering. Has a little knob here so we can adjust it, and so hopefully with this now we can get the power steering going. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up, get on with the next one. We got plenty of work to do and plenty of content to bring you, so like and subscribe and tell your friends about us, and yeah, let's get some projects done around here. Have a wonderful day, everybody.